Record. All right. When you heard President Trump talking about the possibility of taking over Gaza, what kind of went through your head?
That was a pretty bold statement. And again, the more I think about it, first of all, I just appreciate how, his swift and decisive action on securing our border, addressing so many of these problems, looking at waste, fraud, and abuse, and understanding how in his first administration you had partisan actors in these agencies doing everything they could to undermine and sabotage his administration. So he's acting swiftly to put acting heads in, get people confirmed so that that doesn't happen this time. And when it comes to the Middle East, I mean, let's face it, we've witnessed decades of just death and destruction and despair. Maybe providing a little more inspiration, a little more hope to the Gazans. Maybe they'll turn away from Hamas. I'm not saying that's particularly likely. I think 70% of them voted for Hamas, and you saw what that got them, destruction of their little strip of land there. So again, it's just an intractable problem, but why not think out of the box? Why not try and shift paradigms? Why not inspire the Arab states to get in there and help rebuild that? But the first thing you have to do is you have to eliminate Hamas. You cannot allow Hamas to remain infiltrated within the Palestinians, which I asked one of my colleagues today, how many people are we talking about? It's completely unknown. Again, the Palestinians voted 70% for Hamas. You saw what Hamas did. I have not watched the video. I had the video described to me today. I can't even describe it over the airwaves here. It's so horrific. What Hamas recorded themselves doing to people. It's just, again, I can't describe it on camera here.
How would a takeover even look logistically, and how expensive maybe would that be?
Again, I can't answer the question. Again, it's a bold statement. It's a vision. It's trying to provide inspiration to look to a different life than what they've really imposed on themselves by voting for leadership of the type of people that did the types of things that I can't even describe can't even describe it, much less recommend people to watch it. I haven't watched it. It's just horrific. So I don't know, how do you deal with that? I don't even want to call them people. Things that would do that to other human beings it's indescribable.
Moving to tariffs, what do you think about the delays with the deals that were reached with Mexico and Canada?
Well, I'm well aware there are multiple ways you can use tariffs, and I'm well aware that President Trump has used them in multiple ways effectively. For example, in his first term, when he had his surge because of DACA, I mean, that's really the root cause of all these border crises we've had. But when he had his surge, he implemented Remain in Mexico, safe third countries. It wasn't working because Mexico wasn't cooperating, so he threatened tariffs. Mexico cooperated. Bingo, within a year, we had the border secure. And so he did the same thing with both Canada and Mexico. They've both committed to pretty significant resources to help stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigration. So again, there are multiple uses. I have my very serious concerns about general, overall, long-term tariffs. And tariffs are a tax. Somebody pays for them. Sometimes the countries or the importer pays them. Oftentimes it gets passed along to the consumer. And when you tax something, you get less of it. I'm not saying it's particularly good to have less imports, which would cause retaliation and less exports. And again, we have the history of the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, which were a contributing factor to the Great Depression. So that I'd advise real caution in terms of just overall generalized tariffs. I know it seems like President Trump is very in favor of them. I'd be concerned about that.
Do you think we're actually going to get to the point where these take effect?
I hope not. I hope the threat satisfies President Trump with what he's trying to accomplish in terms of securing our border and trying to keep out fentanyl. The problem with fentanyl is, this is when I was chairman of Homeland Security, we had witnesses saying that about $800 of precursor chemicals, that comes from China, filtered in through Canada and primarily Mexico, some through the mail. $800 of precursor chemicals produces $800,000 of street value fentanyl, and that was a few years ago. So again, it's highly profitable. Where there's a demand for a product, there's going to be a supply. So I mean, we only interdict, my best estimate back when I was chairman, maybe 10% of all illegal drugs. In manufacturing, we call that scrap. It just slightly increases the cost of the end product. So If you're really going to address the drug problem, you have to address the demand side.
Moving on to Elon Musk, a lot of people are concerned about the access that he has and potentially obtaining personal information. What do you think about the access that he has and what he's doing?
Well, again, I was concerned about how I saw deep state actors, partisans in these agencies undermine and sabotage the first Trump administration. President Trump is far more wary coming in terms of what happened. He's trying to prevent that from happening. He's trying to get some people in there that as acting secretaries, trying to get people confirmed. But let's face it, the people in charge of these agencies who do not provide information to Congress so we can fulfill our constitutional duty of authority of oversight and investigation, they're unelected bureaucrats. And I know some of them are partisans that have undermined a duly elected president. So, somebody's got to get to the bottom of this. Congress can't because these deep state actors won't give us the information. So a president who's in charge of the executive branch, these people report to him. He's got to put somebody in there. I was saying right up front that President Trump probably needs to appoint a secretary of information extraction. I guess that's really what he's told Elon Musk to do as part of his Doge efforts. I'm fully supportive of it. And it's amazing what he's uncovered so rapidly, so quickly, the waste, fraud, and abuse, leading to really Trump saying, we got to shut this thing down for the time being until we can really get into all the problems.
I guess why shouldn't people be worried about his access and the personal information he might be able to obtain?
Why aren't they worried about the deep state partisan actors who have the exact same access and used it and weaponized it against not only just Donald Trump, but half of America? Well, why isn't there concern about that from the legacy media? Why weren't you asking that questions? Why wasn't there outrage about the lawfare and the weaponization of government? No, I mean, the outrage is misplaced. The concern is outsized and exaggerated.
I think that's all I have for you. Thank you for the time. Really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.